things are moving fast. Hold on tight and you will last. Keep your self-respect, your manly pride. Get yourself in gear, keep your stride. Never mind your fears. Renegade will soon be here. Take it from me, someday we'll all be free.
Good evening. Welcome back to Book Clubs of Pittsburgh's virtual summer reading series. This is our fifth. UBBCP is an association of librarians, readers, and members of book clubs who want to spread our love of reading. I am Lorena Amos and Brock. There is Cynthia Battle, Evelyn King, Lois McClendon, Bonita Penn, and Helen Turner. Through a grant of Social Justice Rapid Response Fund from New Voices for Reproductive Justice, Pittsburgh, and our fiscal sponsor, Trying Together, this reading series is possible. We thank our partners, Pittsburgh Arts and Lectures, Carnegie Library of Pittsburgh, Homewood Branch, and the Carnegie Library of Pittsburgh. We really appreciate the hard work of Pulse's Digital Media Company for providing the technical know-how to put this program together. Here we are presenting Celebration of Reading virtually. The 2020 theme is Literary Healing. What does it mean to be free? Please come and let literature help heal you. We know you are getting antsy, trying to stay home. I know you're sneaking, but you know we want to get well. We want to be able to be free, right? I know you're tired of wearing those masks, but please keep them on. And I know that you are praying that you and your loved ones do not get the virus. And we are also praying for those who have the virus. We're praying for the families of those who have lost someone because of the virus. And also, we're praying for those who have lost someone on top of all the oppression that we have had to endure and the constant images and reports of abuse. Think about it. What does it mean to be free? Today is going to be a real treat, I'm telling you. In our midst, we have published authors. We are the founders of Subversus Social Collective, our own Bonita Penn and Sheila Carter-Jones. Both are going to share the craft of writing with you. We know you will have plenty of questions. You can join the discussion by typing your questions and your responses in the chat. So Bonita will give you some direction. And from there, she'll go on and start our program.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. Sheila and I will be sharing some of our experiences being published authors, what it takes to be a published author, some of our experiences, and also share some of our poetry from our books. So I will just start a little bit about me being a poet. Of course, I can only say that this is my destiny. I was just born this way. I've always been a very avid reader. And I've always written because I was, some people may find it hard to believe that I was always a shy person. So instead of communicating with people, I just wrote a lot. And nowadays, since I am I really write a lot of poetry, I have forgotten that also you have to publish poetry. And so for anybody to really hear me or to know what I do, I have to start publishing my poems. So in 2019, Central Square Press reached out to me to publish a chapbook. And in June of last year, they did publish my chapbook, Every Morning a Foot is Looking for My Neck. And that timely title still is relevant even today, as most of the poems are in the book also. And the thing about being a Black poet, a Black writer trying to be published, which Sheila will probably agree when she speaks, is that finding a place who will publish your work. And a lot of the mainstream publishers, you know, there's always just a crew of Black writers who they pull from, when in reality we have a, you know, just like oceans of great poets that also need to be published. But Central Square Press is an independent press, and it is owned, it was started by a Caribbean American. He started that because he saw the lack of publishers publishing Black work. So he thought he would do his part so Black poets can have a place to be published. Sheila, you have something to say about that?
Was it my turn?
Yes, go right ahead.
Thank you. Yeah, I do actually. I find it difficult to publish, probably because of the content, that they're very specific or kind of edgy or leery of publishing actual pieces that are kind of the hard truth, put it like that. But in, I think 2012, I actually won the Naomi Long Magic Book Award. And this is a publishing company that was started by an African-American woman, and it's for primarily for African-American writers to have opportunity to be published. And so when I won this, I was actually surprised because I wasn't really familiar with the Lotus Press, but you know, since it did happen and I found out more, then I could see where it was like essential to have this kind of publishing company available to African-American writers. So I did do that. I've published in other places, but in a sense, it had to do with something like age, like the, I have like one poem or actually two poems in this called the Boom Project. I'm a baby boomer, so that's one of the things that, you know, to try to send poems, somehow based on content, to places that are publishing those kinds of poems. And actually, this morning, I kept telling myself, I gotta send some poems out. I just gotta just do it. And so this morning, and I said, I'm gonna go for what I would consider like a good place. Just don't think about, oh, they will never accept me or my work or anything. But I just decided I'm going to send a couple of poems out. So I sent a couple out to the New Yorker, and it takes 6 months, so I have time to kind of ingest that fear and try to, just kind of take it in. And I think I get probably more rejections than acceptances. And I try not to get discouraged, but I sometimes I just can't help it. So I've been really, fighting that, urge or desire to not send anything out and not think about, whether they're going to publish my work or not, but rather at least I had the courage to overcome the fear to send it out, in the first place. And I think as I keep going, I'll gain more confidence. Okay.
I've had that same experience that when I look for places to submit, they always have something specific that they're looking for.
Yeah.
And it's not something that, I just don't see a connection to what they're looking for. That's all. And I really don't like wasting my time to send anything out that I feel that doesn't fit what they're trying, what they're trying to put into their magazine. I just think it's a waste of my time. And I suppose that's why I don't send out a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Few times people will say, why don't you just send it to, so-and-so. Like I do have a couple of friends who have some magazines. And it's like, I know I did send it out. It's like, I'm not writing, to be accepted by anybody. I'm sending you what I write, how I write.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to change because that's not, it's just not something that that people find it hard to, like Sheila said, raw and real poetry. Sometimes people just don't want to hear that. But it's like, but I'm writing how I see my life. I'm writing how I see the world. And that's what poets do. What we write is a reflection of what we see going on in the world. So, it's time for us to share it with everyone. But I would like more African Americans perhaps to start their own small presses so that we can be inclusive of each other, because we can't wait on other people to publish us. And someone did ask in the questions, did my publisher only publish poems? And he does. At this time, he does only publish poetry.
Okay. Okay. So from here, I think we're going to share some of our work.
Okay.
If you want to go ahead and share something, Bonita.
No, I'll wait. Go ahead, Sheila. You're a guest. Go right ahead.
Oh, I'm the guest.
Yes.
That's an honor. Thank you. I thought I would read a couple that I've been working on. It's actually some of the things that have been bothering me and with these times. And I want to start with a poem that I wrote about this young man in 8th grade. And I know there are some teachers out there somewhere that can appreciate this, I think. And so this one is titled, "To See an Ocean is a Lesson on Potential." Other teachers think he is strange. It isn't his almond-colored skin, but his eyes. They are blue as if the ocean is in him and the water has risen up past his eyelids into his pupils. His eyes are placid. The calmness makes teachers question. They want to know how this ocean happened. It is odd, made them uncomfortable, didn't make sense. He isn't what they expect, not mean, not loud, or smart aleck. It would be easier to label him a troublemaker if he had regular eyes. Remove him from their discomfort. They would feel less threatened by the way his body in motion appears to be still. He is just a kid with a soft voice. When he answers questions or makes comments in class, his eyes are words and his voice is held back by a blush. When his mouth swells into a smile, his cheeks puff as if to make his eyes two distant blue suns rising together and scattering light. Other teachers ask over and over if I believe such a thing as a brown boy with blue eyes. I say, yes, I see him. I see how he dreams in his Air Jordans, how his voice carries up before it can be carried away by currents, before it can be cuffed behind his back, before a bullet bursts his bubble, before waves crash and he drowns in conspiracies of the water, before other teachers insist he will never be anything but bones scraping the ocean floor. Oops. That's one I wanted to read. Then I wanted to read maybe just one more for now. This man across the street, we've been at this house for 30 years. And he was here before we got here. And he decided, I think, with all the push forward toward a deeper freedom, he decided to put some nasty note on my car. And I knew it was him. But so anyway, I did not stoop to his level, though I wanted to. And I, maybe a week or two later, I was coming down my steps and I saw him. And this is what occurred, I think, from my point of view. Sidewalk suicide. Sitting in a lawn chair he's carried from his porch to the sidewalk is my neighbor. I say, hey, Mike, how are you doing? But I'm thinking, this man is crazy. His body is naked from the waist up, his back a pale tawny pink. I have already seen him see me and look away. I have made myself visible despite how he wants to not see me. He doesn't say he's fine or even okay. He says he is trying to have a stroke. His face is red. His hair is chaotic, as if he has been running his fingers through it, trying to organize his thoughts. It sticks out like fitted nails on the ball of a medieval club. He's ready for puncture. His face is desperately tragic. I think he really wants to die. And for a minuscule of time, I want him to drop right then. It is a moment of accumulated gazes tearing at my body. I clench my teeth to hold impulse, the rush of rage for insulting compliments given generously. How he wishes he was in my 8th grade class, as if I would let him lean into my breast as natural as a child groping for its mother's milk. Beyond what I think is right or just, raw urge makes me feel like conquering. Surge of the primordial heightens at this moment of orgasmic eye to eye. Hardest is to rein in the savage euphoria, dig toward the shared root, pull an enlightened pittance from my gut feeling, shake loose basic instinct. I say to him, you have to live like the rest of us. And my voice is hard. It is all the exposure that I can muster. So those are the two that I wanted to read so far.
Oh, I thank you, Sheila.
You're welcome.
We have a couple of questions from some of our panels. They are asking questions about being self-published and how difficult would that be. And also they asked a question about editing. When you were working on your manuscript for your book, Sheila, did you work with the editor?
No. No, I did not. I mean, an editor is different from, I guess, an agent. So an editor is a person who will go over your work and make kinds of, it's like proofreading, to put in the grammar and the mechanics and to kind of chop it down, maybe too many words or not enough words or something like that. But then it's the agent who is going out to push your work forward to try to, find places for your publication. So no, I did not work with an editor. And on this second book here, The Three Birds Deep, I ended up after it was accepted as a winner, then the the person who owns the press and does this contest kind of, she worked with me with the editing. So I didn't have a personal editor at all. Like I don't have somebody that reads my work and goes over it or anything like that.
Okay, and also with poetry, do you think that it's important to have an editor before, while you're doing the manuscript and before it's published? And I know to edit a poem is not exactly the same as editing like straight narrative, because poetry uses different techniques and jargon and language, and everything is in black and white.
So the question is, do I think?
Yes.
Do
you think that an editor would be very important for poetry other than them checking for spelling?
I think it depends on the person, like what the person or the writer is looking for. Some people maybe don't even want an editor, and maybe some people do feel more comfortable having an editor or have more confidence in it. If I have an editor, then this, or this. But I think it's up to each individual. I can't say, for me, I don't think that it's that important right now. It may be later, but right now, as I'm writing, I would actually rather have an agent.
Okay. Because I remember I had submitted a piece to a literary magazine, and they did accept it, but also they asked me about the title. Like, why is that, is that title correct? Because sometimes my titles aren't exactly like, like regular titles, because that's not how I do it. But I did look, and I looked at the title, and I took their suggestion, and I did change it, but only because it made sense to me. but if it wouldn't have made sense to me, I would have said, no, just leave it just like I wrote it, because that's how I wrote it. But, there's always so much that I can still learn that I would never not take anybody's suggestions. And during my chapbook, the only editing that he did was he helped arrange the poems in the book. Because doing the arrangement is something that exhausts me. Is that I'm just going to put some poems together and we're just going to number them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But nowadays a lot of people want it to be arranged like, do they connect with the last poem? Do they connect with the poem behind them? And there was a post on social media that someone asked, why is it that we have to arrange poems? That people are like, they're asking questions now about the limitations that publishers put on you. But also the one thing that bothered me is that I have issues with pronouncing different words, and so I may spell them differently. And and sometimes I'll go back and I'll look at it, they'll be spelled incorrectly. So I did see a couple errors in my chapbook that, of course, I'm not one to just let it I'll just forget about it. But it still bothers me that I missed that. But obviously, when I go to poetry readings and I make sure that I look at the poet's book that they're reading from, and inside that book, you can't even sometimes see the poem written on the page because they have changed it so much reading. And so, that's not too bad. But being self-published, I still think that even like in a fiction or a nonfiction book, that's when editing really is very important, because you can tell a story, but it has to read smoothly with the reader. And if the reader if they find a hard time reading it, they're not going to read your book no matter how good it is. But I just can't stress that enough to a lot, because I've edited a couple of things for some people. And I've told them that editing is very important, is that I'm not going to change anything that they wrote. I'm just going to tell them how it can read smoother, or how you can enhance something, or you may use the same words too many times, that there's other ways of saying stuff. So editing is very important. And you can self-publish anywhere. Now, Amazon does it. I mean, there's pros and cons with the Amazon, but if you just put in self-publishing in Google, you'll come up with so many companies, but really, it's up to you to do all that research to find out what's the best for you. And also, I have a couple of poems I want to read in between questions. We have any more questions from anyone before I start to read? Because I will share 2 poems also. And this one is from the chapbook. The title is Secret Elegance of Flight When We Soar Furious Winds. 'Cause we allowed to be fine like this. Eyelashes glued and flutter like wings of an albatross. Cool our bodies as we walk the walk in the summer heat that is our blood. We walk in formation in sky blue ripped, shredded skinny jeans, and our titties pressed tight as nipples sing, 'cause we pretty and pretty sings. We are bad. This what we got from the Carolyn Rogers, Sonia Sanchez, bad motherfucking truth-saying sisters. That symbolic glitter of our magic that does not quietly fall to the ground. We sound more like hydrogen bombs, 'cause we loud and we pretty. And our eyelashes flutter like death's ashes blows in the wind. We are here, we are everywhere, and here we will stay. MISSISSIPPI. Bloated bodies, those floaters, Mississippi mud pies, pallbearers, footprints, blood baptized. After the neck snaps, after the bow breaks, after the nigger chased is won, bodies hidden under floorboards in root cellars. Who will looking for the bodies found in the river? Mothers want to know if bodies be drunk with bullets, if a leg be missing, if penises be shoved in mouths, 'cause it is the Black women who clean the bodies, try to make them honorable for burial. Twine tight round necks, stomachs slashed opens, filled with river rocks, and the river rocks. Take me to the river, take me to the river, take me to the drag bodies are yanked to the river's edge, found by the light of the silver moon. Shine had nothing to do with the howls heard. The howls pour out of darkness, a shot glass filled with dark liquor, guzzled down burns, flesh throat, the flesh filled with bullets, the body hog-tied, dragged up from the river's gut.
Go on, Bonita.
Thank you. Okay. You know, another thing I like to talk about is that poets are no longer just being poets. Yes, we do readings now, but I know a lot of poets have ventured off into using multimedia. So poetry readings have turned into like a poetic performance. They use images and music. And of course, I am working on one myself right now. But as writers, we are always evolving. And so Sheila, how do you find the writers, especially the poets, evolving nowadays?
I'm probably very far behind. Try to catch up to them. I think there's one thing that like helped me see differently was I heard Danez Smith say that there are many kinds of poetry, and that there's not one poetry that is, in a sense, better than another. There's all kinds of poetry. And I think people are writing from their life experience in the ways that they can best express it at this time. Um, and I think that's what's happening. There are all kinds of ways of expressing, our life experience or how we perceive things. And I think that's what's going on. People may even start with art, then write a poem about the art, or start with a poem, then do some more kind of media kinds of things with it. But I think it's an interconnection and a kind of like a back and forth flow that's going on right now.
Okay.
I think it's evolving toward toward a kind of like a definition of self, in a sense, for many people.
Okay, Sheila, we have a question for you. Someone asked, how did you start writing? Was it from a child or did you start in college?
Oh, no. Yeah, I started when I was little. And one of the things I think that, helped me hear poetry, of course, was my mother reading the Mother Goose stories to me. What's the Three Little Pigs and all that kind of stuff. And just the rhythm of her voice. And then I think I wrote my kind of like the best poem when I was little was in 7th grade. And then as I just fell into it, I liked it. It was an assignment, and then I couldn't let it go. It was some kind of feeling that it, helped me kind of get at. And then I learned that my grandmother was the poet of the church, that she used to write the poetry for the church that, she attended. And then I felt more like this is part of like a legacy, to be able to continue to write. And I've been writing probably ever since I was about 12 or 13.
Okay. Yeah, because I believe I started about when I was, before I can even write, I would make up stories.
Mm-hmm.
Once I was able to write, and then I started writing.
Mm-hmm.
But I know I always remember myself in my room playing the English teacher. And I would have like a book of my mother's, and I would be like crossing out stuff and hollering at the kids, and but it was always something about the written word that really
Mm-hmm.
that really was inside of me.
Mm-hmm.
We have another question. Someone wants to know, what's the difference between poetry and spoken word?
Is that for me? I think spoken word is poetry. It's just the performance of it, I think.
Okay, I agree. Okay,
I mean, you might want to add to that, Bonita, but I think it's, spoken word is poetry in performance, like physically performing it with voice, body.
well, that's about the same thing I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now we come to the part of our program where Sheila is going to introduce the writing prompt, because we're going to have a writing prompt.
Okay. Are you going to put it up?
Yes.
My lips are so dry. Okay, so we have, whoops.
Okay, can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we have 2 prompts that, follow the theme. What does it mean to be free? And these were taken from Nina Simone. Oh, I can't move it. Okay, you can. Okay. So we're asking if you could choose one of these 2 poems to write about for about 7 to 8 to 10 minutes at maximum, and to talk about in as poetic a form as you can. And it doesn't even have to be, necessarily poetry by stanza. It could be prose. It could be like a vignette type of story. And to choose one of these, the first one is, I wish I could say all the things that I should say. Say them loud, say them clear. Or the second one, well, I wish I could be like a bird in the sky. And to write for, I think we're giving, how many minutes?
About 8 minutes.
Oh, 8 minutes. To just, to get into yourself, to find, discover, some freedom that you need to say loud, say clear, or the freedom of just breaking free in some kind of spiritual way. So we're going to time for 8 minutes. And if you can, spend that time writing. And then I think afterwards we're going to have like a little share out.
Yes, we are. We're going to have a share out.
And you don't have to share if you don't want to, but it's an opportunity.
Yeah, to share your voice. And also you need, when you think about freedom, what is it that you think free? Are you freedom from something, or is it freedom to something? And throughout the Black poetry history, we've always had poets of protest, from Paul Laurence Dunbar to Robin Cooks Lewis. So if you are in Maria Baraka, Nikki Giovanni, Gwendolyn Brooks, they all wrote about freedom, which people, of course, have labeled protest. So, so come up, people are always trying to label stuff as, but come up with your own poems on what you see when you say, I'm free, or I want to be free. I'm working toward being free. So go ahead, you have 8 minutes.
Okay, I'm going to start the timer. Oops.
Okay. Where's the music? Where's the music? They were supposed to be playing some music. In that 8 minutes, they were supposed to be playing music. Yeah, where is the music? Right. Well, you should have told them that. Take the screen down.
Master, the tempest is raging, and the billows are tossing high. You see, the sky is all shadowed with blackness. Oh, no help. Oh, no, every night. And carry our loss that we perish. When you get lonely.
Came the word, and the word was death, and the word was nigger, and the word was death to all niggers, and the word was death to all life, and the word was death to all peace. Be still. The Genesis was life, the Genesis was death, and the Genesis of death was the Genesis of war. Be still, peace, be still. In the name of peace, they waged the wars. Ain't they got no shame? In the name of peace, Lot's wife is now a product of the Morton Company. No, they ain't got no shame. Noah packing his wife and kiddies up for a holiday. Row, row, row your boat. But why'd you leave the unicorns, Noah, huh? Why'd you leave them? While our black Madonna stood there, 18 feet high, holding him in her arms, listening to the rumblings of peace. Be still, be still. Can I get a witness, 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 he wanted to know. And Peter only asked, who is that dude? Who is that black dude? Looks like a troublemaker to me. And the foundations of the mighty, mighty Roman Catholic Church were laid. Hallelujah, Jesus, no. They ain't got no shame, 'cause they killed the Carthaginians in the great Appian Way. And they killed the Moors just to civilize a nation. And they just killed the earth and blew out the sun in the name of a God whose Genesis was white. And war wooed God, and America was born, where war became peace, and genocide patriotism, and honor is a happy slave, 'cause all God's children need rhythm. And glory, hallelujah, why can't peace be still? The great emancipator was a bigot, ain't they got no shame? And making the world safe for democracy were 20 million slaves. No, they ain't got no shame. And they barbecued 6 million to raise the price of beef, and crossed the 16th parallel to control the price of rice. Ain't we never gonna see the light? And champagne was shipped out of the east, while kosher pork was introduced to Africa. Only the torch can show the way. In the beginning was the deed, and the deed was death, and the honkies are getting confused. Peace, be still. So the great white prince was shot like a nigger in Texas, and our black shining prince was murdered like that thug in his cathedral, while our nigger in Memphis was shot like their prince in Dallas. And my Lord, ain't we never gonna see the light? The rumblings of this peace must be still, be still, be still. All black people, ain't we got no pride?
I believe time is up. Go ahead, Sheila.
Okay, so we have a few minutes left to share. Is there anyone who would like to volunteer?
Just put your hand up.
Where is it? Where is it in the chat? Love Nikki. Well, is there anyone who does not want to share? And then you can share. Okay, Miss Avis, did you write anything? I can't hear you. Oh, there you are.
I need just a little minute. because I started it, and then I just knew that one of our audience who's been writing was going to share first.
But I guess they're not.
Yeah.
Why don't you just read what you have?
Okay. How I wish I could say what I should say. Here I am in a box, put on in somebody else's rules, somebody else's image. And that's all I have.
Good. That's a great start, I tell you that. I like that. I like that idea of being put on. Okay.
So
We're looking for the next reader. Let me go down here. Oh, Cynthia.
okay.
I think she raised her hand. Yeah.
I don't know if this makes sense, but it just came to me.
Okay.
It took me 32 years to find the strength to let down my hair and to let go of my fears. It took me so very long to raise above. It took me so very long to raise above the bull crap that you fed to me, that you called love. My time has come to spread my wings, to open my voice and sing and sing. I'm no longer yours to keep as your door, to open and leave my life on the floor. I'm going to say it loud right now so our neighbors could hear. Goodbye, motherfucker. I'm out of here.
Wow.
I love that surprise ending. I love how that flowed. Yeah. That idea. When we come off the demic, that when we do another reading at the
Cafe.
at the
Everyday Cafe.
yeah, that all of us should read. We finish working on our piece and then read the United Black Club reading.
That's a good idea. Very good idea. I like the collaboration.
Yeah, that was great.
It was. It really was.
Yeah, I like that open and door and leave.
Yeah, the door. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yes, love it. Okay, I think we have. Oh yeah, we have time for at least two more, I'm sure.
There is a button on your chin.
Don't be shy.
Well, if we don't have any more, Sheila can read one more poem, and I can read one more poem.
Yeah, that might inspire people, right?
Right, might inspire
They're
some.
probably still writing like me.
Where mine went. Where that poem went. Wait a minute. Anyway, I don't know where it went, but what I wanted to read. Okay, oops.
You got a hand?
I have. Oh, we do? Does somebody want to read?
Yeah, Tony.
Okay.
All right, this is a real work in progress. When you said, like, I wish I could fly like a bird in the sky, I had started writing this poem about Sankofa. So this is rough, but this is sort of like whatever came. Well, I wish I could be like a bird in the sky. I wish I could be Sankofa. Sankofa flies backwards, but she moves forward, carrying possibilities in her beak. What does she see with her long, long sight? Give me eyes that I may see, soaring high in the sky, oh so high, hear her cry over the land. Wish
Nice.
I could fly like a bird in the sky over the land like Sankofa. Bird's eye view, long, long sight. Ancestors praising the possibilities they produced in we. We long to see what the end will be, 'cause Sankofa flies over the land, calling out justice, calling out freedom. Rise up, she cries, and the people who have eyes to see know she is flying higher still till she reaches the sun. She flashes as bright and golden as the sun. The higher she flies, the more she cries, and those with ears to hear sing out justice, sing out freedom, sing out liberation. Let us all be free. Sankofa knows, Sankofa sees, let all those with eyes to see and ears to hear cry out, Sankofa, when I can fly as high as a bird in the sky.
Wow, nice.
Yeah.
Good
Nice.
one.
Wow. Yeah. Sheesh. All right. There are no. Everybody's an expert here. It's true. It's fabulous. Yay. So, who was going to read one more? Who's missing? Is anyone else want to read? Share?
Hmm.
No? Yes?
We can't see you, we'll just hear you.
Mm-hmm. Who is it? Very nice. Very nice readings. Very nice. Okay. So the host has spotlighted your video.
Okay, Sheila, you can read one more before we go. We can close out with a poem from you and me.
Okay, I'm going to try this one. And it's kind of like, it was supposed to be one poem, but I broke it up into two. I don't know, well, let me, I have to say a little bit. In 1965, my dad was beaten by cops and put in a state hospital for the criminally insane for 6.5 years.
Wow.
And this was right after the civil rights bill was passed into law, the voting right bills. And so this was like another man, black man, who was taken away, could not, no vote, no nothing, never heard of until 6.5 years later. I think it was about 15. And then the next time I saw my dad was, I was graduating from college. So this is kind of, this place is, I call the gone dead place. You're gone, but you're not dead, but you're almost dead, but you're definitely gone. So that's the gone dead place that I will say in this, the second part. The first part is called The. The began before the story a man is telling of what he realized while he was held in a space called gone dead. He was not being held in a holding pen as during the blackest darkness, but it is the same black. He is telling his son because the boy will grow up to be a man who will need to have eyes that see in the dark. The man tells his son, eyes that see in the dark doesn't mean there is no light. It means a man must read in a language with words that become light. Keep the mouth closed, i.e., bite your tongue. Remember, the goal is to get home safely, i.e., your mama loves you to death. Don't under the circumstance argue, i.e., give no back talk. Remember, anything you do or say can be held against you, i.e., don't cop a plea. Keep the hands in plain sight, i.e., show your hands up. No sudden moves, i.e., no sucking your teeth. Do not run, i.e., your back is a moving target. Do not resist, i.e., don't give them a reason. Don't answer the questions until you meet with a lawyer, i.e., bite your tongue harder. Watch your the words, i.e., do not curse the darkness aloud. Watch the body language, i.e., don't even look like you want to curse the darkness. Or the man tells his son, eyes that see in the dark means there is a bit of hope that filters into a place where everything black is strained through a system of quiet light, a planned madness that is not chaos. It is the gone dead space, the place between the living and the dead, where the body walks in circles, is beaten, cursed, shamed, deprived until it is repossessed and reshaped into the smallest image that does not have a meaning. However, the body is alive. Not like what happened to softness of a small hand playing with a toy gun, or a man's neck locked in muscular arms, black legs jogging, a teen's velvet back in sheen of moonlight, a spine crushed, a chest bursting forth a budding heart. The story keeps blooming from here, sure to bear fruit. Oh, how sweet the seed. Those are my two last ones.
Wow. The disco with I wish I could say all the things I should say.
I should say.
Huh?
I don't know. I just wrote those. I was feeling like that first part, it's kind of like trite, but it's what every mother tells her African American son.
Yeah.
And then they say that, but and I was trying to change it. So, in other words, this is what I'm telling you.
Right.
Like, shut your mouth instead of like being nice, i.e., bite your tongue. This is how we would say
Yeah.
it. Bite your tongue.
But it goes with, I wish I could say what I should say. You know what I mean? Bite your tongue. You know what I mean?
True.
Don't cuss the dark, you know?
That's right. So, yeah, those are my
Go on a cage.
Mhm.
Hey, I'm unmuting myself. I don't feel well, but you ladies are awesome.
Yes.
I'm gonna
Yes.
be like you. I'm
Right.
telling you, you guys got it going on. 2 snaps in a room for Sheila and Bonita. Y'all are 2 stars.
Wow,
Right.
thank you.
And you guys are awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So it is 8:03.
Oh, okay.
Bonita, you got last words?
There you are.
Hmm? Okay. So, audience, wasn't this awesome? These are our own sisters. These are our sisters. They belong to us. And we thank them. We honor them. We give praise to them. And we thank Pulses. We thank all of you, all of you. Next week will be our last one. And we're having fun. We might do a fall one, y'all. And every week it just gets better and better and better and better. I don't know. But anyway, we have a wish list for the fall. I don't know if the survey is up, but if you have someone you would like us to invite for our fall reading series, please put it somewhere so we'll know. And Sheila and Bonita, mwah, mwah, mwah. Big hugs. Thank you so much. Thank you. See you all next week, same time, Wednesday, 7 o'clock. We will have Diane Whetstone, many books, and she is going to come to us from Philadelphia. Well-known writer. Good night.